Hi, everybody. We are live here. I am in Montreal, and my guest today is VegCeps. VegCeps, say hi to everybody.
What's up?
So VegCeps is 17 years old. Is that right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about yourself. You're vegan, otherwise you wouldn't be on my show. No, not true. I'd take anybody on my show, but go ahead.
Well, I'm just a person who wants animal liberation. That's basically it.
Okay. And how are you going about that? Like, tell us a little bit about your life. Where do you live? How did you become vegan?
I live in Texas. Probably not the ideal place to live vegan, as it's pretty. People would define it as the last state to give up meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not very good. But got into veganism just by being surrounded by like really all it comes down to is how you grow up with most people. So if you're growing up around people who are showing you how to be harsh and rude to people and harsh to animals, that's what you're going to grow up doing. Like you grow up with hunters, or as I like to call them, serial murderers as parents. You're going to grow up hunting animals and having zero compassion for animals and the planet. So, but
Okay.
for me, when I was younger, I'd always go to the parks and, dogs would greet me and I was always ask people to pet them and always like them and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it really made me more passionate towards animals. And like when I was young and I would go to the library, I would always get books about animals, and I just liked all different kinds of animals. So it was really in my values to be vegan from like day one, really. And one day I just had like a random thought out of nowhere, like I'm actually eating animals. And I think it was like when I was 12 years old, I was like, I'm actually eating animals, but why am I eating animals? Actually, I like animals a lot, And I thought, I have a pet rabbit named Twinkle. I love her very much. I consider
Oh yeah,
her
I've
to be
seen
my best
her.
friend. Yeah.
Oh, she's so
So,
cute.
yeah. I'll probably bring her on the stream later if that's fine. But
Hey, why not? The more the merrier.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought if I wouldn't kill and eat her, why am I killing and eating other animals? So from then on, I was like doing research and I came across veganism. And at first, it started out with me being a vegetarian because I didn't really know about the dairy and egg industry. But it was like 2 weeks
Okay,
later when
wait,
I
wait, wait. Let me get this straight. You kind of thought about becoming vegan like on your own. Did you have no triggers or none that you're conscious of? You didn't see a pamphlet somewhere or somebody wearing a t-shirt, or
no, I
you just
wasn't familiar with it at all. Just randomly thought about it, and I was like,
that's
yeah,
so
something has to be
interesting.
going. Yeah, I thought
Wow.
something had to be going on in these industries, and I started researching. I was like, I found exactly what I thought I was going to find, and that was that animals were being killed on a mass scale, very brutally and harshly, and I was against that. So
All
I
right.
thought, yeah, if I wouldn't subject my pet rabbit to that, why would I subject any other animal to that? So it's all about being consistent. And if you're not consistent, then you're not doing things right. You're just a hypocrite.
You know what's weird? I'm 56, but when I was in grade 7, over here in Montreal, grade 7 is like the first year of high school. And I remember going into, it was like a style that you would, oh, it's so embarrassing to say, but it was like a style that you would go, there was like in the stores, you could buy like a rabbit foot and it was on a chain and you'd like wear it on your jeans. And I don't know. I guess I thought it wasn't a real rabbit foot. It was just like a decoration or something. But like, we called it a rabbit foot. Like, how could I not have known? Right? I was 12 or 13 and it was blue. Like it was blue and soft. And I was like, oh, it's so soft. And like the disconnect is crazy. And for you to be like petting your rabbit and realizing that's so cool. Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have 3 sisters. I'm the youngest of them all.
Okay. And have you managed to convince anyone in your family to become vegan? I know family is always the hardest.
No.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's a family. Everyone says the same thing, that convincing family is the hardest, and we should just give up. Just don't even bother. Let other people convince our families. Like, I'll work on yours, you work on mine kind of thing, because there's some sort of blockage there when it comes to our own family. Although I do have members in my family who are vegan now. Like I have nieces and I have, other extended family who are vegan. And so it's kind of cool. All right. So thank you to, so somebody wrote, Kevin, Miss Vegan Teacher, I'm so happy to see you. Warm my heart every time I see you. By the way, I'm autistic. Okay. Well, hi. Thanks for being here. Let's see what else we have. We're going to look at some comments. You want to read this one, VegCeps?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is Elizabeth. I'm 15 and I became vegan because I want to save all animals. Good job. Very wise at a very young age. It's what it's all about, opening your mind at a young age and being open to changing. Go watch Seaspiracy and Cowspiracy. Go subscribe to that vegan teacher. Go eat some tofu.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a great message. Definitely go do all of those things. Go watch Seaspiracy. Go watch Cowspiracy. Watch Dominion. Watch Earthlings. Educate yourself. And it's great that you made the change at such a young age. So we need more of that. We need more of the younger generation being open-minded to things like that.
It's really great. Okay, let's see. I'm just going to randomly click on things, okay? They might have no idea what we're going to end up with. Just like randomly push. Okay. Okay. Oh, well, that's a good one. Thank you, Annika. I love you so much, vegan teacher. Okay, perfect. Okay, next one. You read this one.
Eat tofu. I mean, that's probably like my main source of protein.
Yeah. Cool. I eat tofu. I don't have it every day, but yeah, I like it. I can just eat it straight. Like I literally can open the package and cut it. You know how I first saw that before being vegan, actually? Oh, no. I had just become vegan and I was at school teaching and kids were eating in the classroom, which they did at this one school that I was teaching at. They would have their lunch on their desks. And I was, walking around and just monitoring and chatting. And one girl showed me that she was eating these little cubes, these little white cubes. I'm like, what are you eating? And she's like, just tofu. Like, I was like, plain? She's like, yeah. Like, it doesn't taste like much, right? But it's kind of cool. I mean, most people think it's crazy, but I don't know. I like it like that. Let's see what else we have here. Go ahead. You can read the comments. Okay, this is somebody randomly talking to each other. Okay, next. Okay, I love bananas. That's great. Okay, you read this one.
I went vegan today. I love almond milk. Amazing. Keep at it. If you need any help, you can reach out to me. I can help you out. Like, just reach out to me. I'm sure my Instagram will be linked or something like that will be linked in the description. So if you ever want to reach out and need help, you already know who to contact.
That's it. Exactly. So VegCeps, you and I have, you did a video basically about my activism. Do you want to tell people about that, what you said in your video?
Oh, for sure. So for at first, seeing all the, not being familiar with your content or with who you really are and your true values, and seeing all the false accusations and just, false videos and claims for publicity, it's easy to fall into the trap to think that someone's fake or they're doing something for attention. And that's what I thought you were. I thought you were just a comedian who was like not really vegan, but more so just doing it as a joke. But then I actually looked and I was like, and this is actually a different form of activism. And we're not used to seeing like these forms of activism like yours. And it's really unique. It's really cool. But we're just not
so interesting. You thought I was like a comedian. That's so good. Yeah. I would love to be funny, but I'm really not. I don't think but what did you see exactly? Do you remember? It was on TikTok?
Yeah. Like I thought because you were singing the songs, I thought it was kind of like,
okay,
who sings songs like this? And like with all the like the stuff going around, the false claims, it's like it's easy to fall into the trap to think that you're not doing it for the animals and rather it's just a joke. But when you actually look,
it's
your activism,
I find that. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. But yeah, your activism is like, it's very different. And I think that's great because the vegan community needs a lot of variety because variety is what's going to bring in the most people. We don't just need one person doing the same thing over and over and over. We need a lot of variety, and every movement needs a lot of variety in order to bring new people in. If you don't have variety, you're doing the same thing. So seeing someone like you bring something new to the table like that and getting popular on TikTok and spreading veganism there, and also saw you like uplifting other vegans and sharing their posts, that was amazing. So that's what really gave me final push.
I really love the what you could do on TikTok, the fact that you could do duets. So I had developed this hashtag called Vegans Supporting Vegans, and I really I saw that I was going up, you know, in numbers. And I was like, you know, okay, I got to take all these people with me. So I just was like, kept duetting, and I kept telling everybody, come into my comment section and write, just comment, because they'll see your comment and then they'll be like, oh, who's this person? And they'll follow you. Right. But I think what happens is that I found anyway that a lot of times vegans are really just kind of focused on their own thing, and they're just kind of like not. Anyway, what I would like to see is more vegans helping each other, more people lifting each other up and really bringing each other along on these rides that we're going on. Like, so when someone's down, you know, bring them up. And when someone's up, like, you know, go follow, because, you know, let's just all swim together in this giant stream, this giant ocean, so we can get to the end goal, which is animal liberation. And I was of the mindset that, well, I studied and I found out how to get a social movement going. And you have to disrupt society. So I went on TikTok and I did a crazy video of myself saying, you know, eat your vegetables. And I shook the camera, and I was eating, I had a bunch of, you know, a huge pile of spinach there. It was an 8-second video. And someone told me just put in whatever random hashtags. And so I went for the community of kids that I was actually teaching at the time. So I was teaching in, you know, grades 2 to 6. Well, kids that age aren't on there, but grade 6 they were on TikTok, even though I realized later you have to be 13, but they were all on it. And I was just, you know, I just wrote Minecraft, Fortnite, whatever games that the kids play, you know, soccer, anything. So apparently kids were like looking for soccer things, and they would stumble upon me, and then they would just, I don't know, actually. I just ended up getting a huge amount of followers, and it was an interesting ride. And yeah, I think TikTok is great. And thanks for your support. And how about you? How did you first come onto social media? Were you already on Instagram when you became vegan?
No, not really. Because I've been vegan for 5 years, and I didn't really even have a phone at the time that I went vegan, I don't believe. But
wow,
yeah,
so interesting.
Yeah, I came into it with the veganism, so I believe.
Yeah. All right, here's one. You want to read it?
Yeah, sure. Be vegan today. We aren't forcing you all. Well, we can't exactly force them. We're not putting a gun to their head, otherwise we'd be in prison, right? So yeah, people choose whether they want to support atrocities or be nonviolent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people often say, you're forcing us to be vegan. Don't force me. It's like, we're just talking here, just chilling. All right. Go for it. You're going to be the comment reader, all right?
Remember, vegan for the animals, and vegan food tastes amazing too. So please give it a try. Yeah, for sure. Vegan for animal rights. That's really the only way you can be vegan to me, is if you're doing it for for the animals. And yeah, vegan food does taste great. And something people don't realize is that all flavor literally originates from plants. They say meat tastes good. The reason why their meat has flavor is because of the plant-based seasonings that they're putting on that flesh. Take the seasonings away, and it just tastes bland.
Exactly. It's the same like tofu tastes bland, but you put all the seasonings on there, marinate it, just like any kind of meat, and it tastes great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's another one.
Hi, vegan teacher. I'm Annika, and I'm 13 years old, and I need advice on how to convince my family to be vegan too. #Animal Lives Matter. I think that one's for you.
Yeah. Oh, that's a tough one. We just talked about that, how difficult it is for our families to become vegan. And I think I don't think I've met any vegans who have become vegan and their families all just went, oh my God, that's what we've been doing to the animals? We should all be vegan together. Let's do it. It's very, very rare. I think maybe I read one family that happened to, and it was like about 5 years ago. Most cases, it's people are still stuck in cognitive dissonance, and they're just like looking at the family member like, oh, this is a weird trend you're in. When is this going to be over? And you know, they're just blocked.
Yeah.
I mean, and you give them all the information. I think that what I would just say is to try to keep educating as much as you can. Try to get them watch these documentaries together, look at pamphlets together, watch talks, different videos, YouTube videos. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you can like kind of go at it and tackle it as a like pressure campaign that
Mm-hmm.
people do with places like fur shops. And I know you're familiar with Saks just going fur free because of the constant pressure the animal rights community has been putting on them. So that's absolutely amazing. But I think if you just pressure them, keep showing them the footage. Maybe if you see them eating a piece of animal flesh, play some animal like footage right in front of them, play their screams out loud and show them what they're supporting. Just possibly pressure them into it.
Yeah. Yeah, your family's all sitting there and you just come with a phone and just like start playing the animals screaming for their lives, and then just like, no, that's what you're eating. I'm just listening to my music here. It's my new music that I like. I don't know how that's gonna. It's a new kind of cool music. It's on the radio now. Animals screaming. Oh God, I can't listen to that. It gets me so upset. I just can't. That's why I actually have such a hard time going to protests where we're protesting fur and they put on the speakers, the animals being skinned alive. I can't. I just fall on the pavement. Like I can't listen to them cry. I can't detach from it. I don't know how people do. What made me become vegan? Really nice to know. So for me, when I became vegan, it was kind of a slow, kind of a bumpy ride. So that's why I totally get everybody who has trouble in a way, right? Because I didn't just do it like that. I do not believe that people become vegan overnight at all. People say that they do, and I'm sorry, but I just don't believe it. I think that there are a lot of different influences that you need a few days. Sometimes you need months. Sometimes you need years. I mean, it's like you're eating animals, and then one day you realize, hey, I'm eating an animal. I'm like, I have a rabbit, but I'm eating a pig. Oh, well, I should think about that some more. And then you keep eating another animal and but you sleep on it. And then at some point it clicks. And I mean, maybe you're not even conscious that you've seen some kind of pamphlets, videos, T-shirts. Maybe you're not conscious of it, but I think it takes a lot of little influences. Maybe you have to see one animal after another. Anyway, for me, it was just I became vegetarian at first, thinking I was doing a good thing. And then it was pointed out to me that, hey, you're not really doing a good job because of the dairy industry, because they kill these animals in the dairy industry to get cheese and milk. They kill baby cows. They kidnap them. They steal them from their mothers. So when someone pointed out, like, you're a thief, I'm like, I'm not a thief. Yeah, you are. You're paying people to steal babies and you're stealing their milk. And you're a murderer because you're paying somebody to kill these baby cows, turn them into veal. So I don't want to be a murderer or a thief. So I thought, okay, I have to be vegan. And simple as that. I mean, so that's kind of what I teach now, is I teach people that exact kind of thing. And Gary Yourofsky was a big influence on me. He's a speaker. Do you know him?
Yeah, for sure. I'm very familiar with him. I love his work.
Yeah. What have you seen? Did you see the speeches that he did? The most important speech you'll ever hear, or what did you?
I've watched a bit of it, and I've watched a lot of his other content as well, but I haven't watched the entire greatest speech you'll ever hear. But I'm very familiar with him, and I even made videos defending him back just almost a year ago when he was getting false claims made against some false racist claims.
Right.
Something that I had to deal with just recently, as you probably saw.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
No, it's not really necessary. It's not relevant to anything.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say that one of the things that I liked about you is that I saw you using the word Holocaust related to the animals and calling it an animal Holocaust. And I know Gary Yourofsky does that, and I do too. And this is not an insult to anybody who was in the Holocaust at all. One of the reasons that I started doing that is I went to a conference and I saw an elderly man who's Jewish, and he himself said, what the animals are going through right now is a Holocaust, similar to what my family went through. And that's when I kind of made the links, because I heard a speech talking about the imprisonment and the suffering, being torn from families, and the torture and the murder, the abuse. And he basically, it took a Jewish person to make me realize that. So it's sad when people say that you're anti-Semitic if you make this connection, because there are many Jewish people who are vegan and they understand it. So when people use that as an excuse, that's just another excuse because they don't want to look at their own habits. They don't want to change what they buy in the grocery store. They're just disconnected. They're not there yet.
Yeah, for sure. I think people just want to be the victim themselves. They want to make themselves out to be the victim, maybe because they had people in the past who were Holocaust survivors, and they somehow think that relates to them being able to control your freedom of speech and what you can say, and basically just spread lies. Because when these people are asked for evidence, they never can provide evidence, and when given the chance to speak out for their own people and why this is anti-Semitic and why we shouldn't do it, they can't provide any logical reasoning. So you have to make lies and you have to spread lies among people. That's the only thing you can do.
All right, so here's another one. You want to read it?
Vegan phobic carnists, go away. We aren't bothering you. Thanks for the kind words of veganism, YouTube.
Hey, it rhymes. Well, yeah. So thank you to Mafu the vegan. We appreciate that. So I don't know what's happening with the moderators, but they're doing such a good job. I don't even see too many negative comments here. But moderators, if you see people that are making comments that are questions by haters, by carnists, by all means, let them through. Okay, this is a chance for us to have a conversation with them, to talk to them. Don't block everybody who says the least little negative thing in this particular live. Okay, I know, because my students are just like gung-ho. They're like block, not block, but they put people in timeout, and that's great. But I would like my students today, right now, to just block a little bit less or put people a little bit less in timeout, because this is a chance for us to connect with people who are not vegan and to help them. So do you want to read this one?
Hi, I became vegan today, and I'm very proud of my
But my parents don't support me. And then you feel less proud. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard if parents don't support you. It's so sad.
Yeah, that was my same motive. I mean, that was like that's how it was for me too, because there's none of my family members were still doing it. None of them, went after it after I did. None of them cared about it, even after educating them or anything. So I'd say just stay vegan and stay passionate and hope for the best. I don't know. Start interacting with some more vegans is what will put you in the best position. If you don't have any vegan friends, just I'd say the internet is your friend if you're in that situation. It's definitely been like that for me, being in a southern state where veganism really isn't getting close to being the norm, or not even vegan food restaurants. They're not very common in most cities. So
yeah, best thing you can do is join groups and find other vegan friends, because then you won't feel so lonely and you won't think you're crazy. You are not crazy. You're doing amazing. If you are vegan and you're the only vegan in your family, my heart goes out to you. I tip my hat to you. You are fantastic. And I want to also praise people who are kind to vegans in their family. I want to encourage you to not be vegan phobic, but to be vegan fantastic. What that means, it's a word I invented. I say vegan fantastic is the opposite of vegan phobic. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're vegan yet, but when you have someone in your family who comes out of the closet as an animal rights activist, as somebody who is not going to pay for the rape, torture, and murder of animals anymore, and you see that family member, you might not be there yet, but you don't have to be an asshole. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to eat meat in front of them. You could be sensitive. You can think to yourself, okay, my child, let's say my 13-year-old little VegCeps or whoever, you're vegan. All right, great. Well, how can we help you? That's ideal. That's the best case scenario. Someone's saying hi to you here, I think. Oh, that's somebody saying, well, by the time I click on the comment, it's already gone. All right, here's a big one. You want to read this one?
Just had a lovely homemade vegan chill con carne. I'm guessing that's some meal that I'm not familiar with.
It's a chili con carne. I think it's like chili with rice.
Yeah, not really familiar with it. Currently painting an awareness poster along with some animal clay figures as an extra. Just question. Just a question: is wool clothing vegan? No, it comes from sheep. Vegans don't wear anything that comes from animals. There's no reason to, unless you're a violent person and you want to cause harm to others. Then sure, go for it.
So do you want to explain why? Because people think it's just like a haircut. You want to explain why we
No,
don't wear wool?
because the workers get paid not by the hour, but how much, wool they're cutting. So by that logic, they're going to be cutting very fast, being very rough with the animals, beating them and forcing them to do things if they're not compliant. So all those things happen.
It's terrible because they just take these innocent animals and they just like throw them down. They sit on them. They raise them. They go in hard. There's blood. They are, and it's just wrong. It's just wrong to take a part of another sentient being's body without consent.
Yeah.
Like, it's just wrong. You wouldn't. The way I always see it, explain it to people is just imagine that animals are 2-year-old children. 2 or 3-year-old children. Would you ever just run up to a kid and just pin them down and just shave their head and run away with their hair? Like, if you wouldn't do it to a child, don't do it to an animal. Would you ever forcefully stick any part of any object into a child? That's what they do. They take these animals, they force sperm into mother cows against their will without any consent. When the baby is born, they take the baby away. It is extremely traumatizing for these mother cows. Nobody should drink cow's milk. Nobody should be eating cheese that comes from cows.
Yeah, for sure. And that's another thing. It's like, I feel like in the time that human atrocities were legal, I think that people who look at animals like as commodities right now, as products, as just something to be used and thrown around for humans, I think they would think that same way of other humans in the time of slavery. This person, because they're this race, they deserve to be forced to work for me. They're nothing more than just my slave and something to profit off of. That's how they see animals. That's the same way you would see a person about 200 years ago. I promise you. If that's your logic right now.
That's why I think it's fascinating. The other thing that you talk about, you and I agree about using the word Holocaust, and you equate it to slavery. And I think that's so great, because if I try to do that, I will be labeled as a racist. I mean, I did a little video showing this cute little doll, and I filmed her, and it was not even a 2-minute video. And my whole goal was to say that we should be kind to everyone. That's the message. And that I was called racist, like over 1 million people saw that video, and it's just incredible. It has nothing to do with that. When people do that, they call you racist, they call you homophobic, they make up lies about you. I mean, people lied about me. They say I've murdered people. They say that I spread shit all over a restaurant wall. I never did that. They say that I ate at McDonald's. I didn't do that. They show videos of some other woman. I have no idea who she is. Not me. I mean, they just make up lie after lie because they want to continue their vegan phobic behavior. That's not okay. And people will call me racist. Thankfully, somebody like you is saying, I mean, you said it, and I was happy to hear you say that. You said that, well, I'll let you say it in your own words. How do you feel about racism versus what we do to the animals?
Speciesism and racism is the same logic. So you think someone is made to be used for your pleasure and for your self-substances and things like that. You would do the same thing to another person in the time of those atrocities being legal. So it's like, just because you can do something, you're going to do it, even though you know that something is very cruel and you don't have to do it in order to live a good life. It's insane.
Yeah. So
another thing I wanted to tackle was like you saying the the N-word video, because I know that was very controversial. And as I've said, I didn't really think it was the best thing to post. But another thing I find funny is that the entire gaming community, which is really the ones who are tackling you and things like that, they had this entire joke going on, and it went something like the N-word pass. And everyone was throwing that around and joking about it, like, hey, I want the N-word pass. And it had so funny saying the N-word and things like that. But then you come along and try and make the word nice, and all of a sudden you're bad. But these people are going around talking about inward passes and how that's funny and all, but once you see it, just because you're vegan, it's automatically bad. It's like you guys are throwing that joke around.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so what do you got here? You want to read this one?
Vegan gays. That's a reply to someone else.
Okay. All right, so that's another conversation. All right, let's see what we have here. I'm just going to randomly click again. Miss Katie, I think that's how you spelled it. Yeah, you spelled it right. Care to explain of those little skits of talking to God with a banana, but say religions are just fairy tales? Oh, sure, no problem. Jean Kirsten. So I talk to God on a banana phone, and God tells me that I should be good. And what do you want to know? I mean, I think that if your religion is telling you that you should hurt animals, then you should change religions. It's not that complicated. I don't get why people don't understand that. There's no rule that says that you're born Christian and you have to stay Christian all your life. You can change religions. You can change religions more than once. And you can change religions every damn day if you want to, or every hour, even every minute. So if I am Christian, if I say, right now I'm Christian, and it says, thou shalt not kill. Well, I'm in the grocery store. I'm not buying dead animals, right? Because I'm Christian. And if for some reason something happens and I say, you know what, today I want to be a Muslim or whatever, I love many of the things that happen in other religions. Religions are really have many great habits. Like I was thinking, I wish I was Jewish on the day that I got married. I want to be carried around on a chair and, hoisted up with a bunch of people singing. Like that looked like fun. Like, damn it, I wasn't Jewish at the time. Right? So there's many different things that come from many different religions that are great. Choose what is best from each religion and follow that. And if your religion tells you to hurt anybody, don't do it. And that's what I also say to whatever religion, if your religion, and this is not on the subject of veganism, but it's a subject of circumcision. I am against circumcision of baby boys or girls. There's no excuse to do that to a child. There's no reason to cut off the tip of anybody's body without their consent. That's their kid's penis. Leave it alone. Doesn't matter what your religion is. And that's not me being anti-Semitic or whatever, because people who are not religious also do that. As a registered nurse, I've seen circumcisions, and it was absolutely horrible and completely unnecessary. Teach your kid to wash themselves. We're not cutting off people's earlobes, nipples, or whatever else just because we feel like it, just because we want the kid to look like their dad or whatever. So when it comes to your religion, be good. Pick the good parts of your religion. If your religion is telling you to hurt humans, telling you to steal the lives of animals, telling you to murder them, telling you to steal milk from animals, whatever your religion is doing, if it's not telling you to be good, just change religions, or just change religions temporarily and come back to your religion if you want to when that whatever event is over. I don't think that religion is an excuse for animal abuse. That's my message. And that's what I'm saying. And when I'm saying that religion is fairy tales, well, religions, these books were written by humans. I mean, don't you, have you never been, does nobody understand what rumors are and how people talk? Like I could say something to VegCeps, he could say to someone else and someone else. By the time it gets, look at the amount of lies that were spread about me. People literally said that I ran over some kid with a car, or I don't know, all kinds of crazy stuff. So rumors spread. So what makes you think that what's in these books came from God or whatever? It's just a bunch of humans who wrote these rules up, or these texts. The stories are great. Some of them are meant to control us. Religion was there to control the people so that we would be too scared of doing anything bad. And that's not a bad thing in a way. If religion is going to make you be a good person, okay, be part of that religion. But if your religion is telling you to do bad things, don't do it. And so I say that religion is fairy tales. By that, I mean, I don't believe that Jesus walked on water. Maybe you do. To me, that's a fairy tale. Do you believe in Santa Claus? I mean, what else do you believe in, right? We look at science, we look at reasoning. I hope I answered your question. You want to add to that?
Yeah, so if you look at everything humans have, the reason why we're even able to talk right now, the reason why the people or the meat eaters are in the comment section trolling right now, it's because of science. It's not because of some magical God, it's because of scientific breakthroughs. So everything humans have done is based on science. So if you have no scientific evidence that a God exists, then it doesn't exist until it's scientifically proven. People say, like, can you just prove that religions don't exist or they don't mean anything? It's like, can you prove that they exist? Can you scientifically prove it? Everything every accomplishment by humans is built on science. And another thing I wanted to add.
Well, hold on. I think you said if religions exist. I think we can agree that religions exist. But
yeah, the religions, but
yeah, but the text that's written in these books, we don't necessarily know that this came from God or any power. Yeah. I mean, it's written, as far as I'm concerned, these are written by humans, and they're written to control us, to make sure that we are good people. And that's okay. There's great stories about not stealing and not being mean, but there's also some weird stories in some of these things that are kind of bizarre and kind of mean. So don't look at those. Look at the stories that tell you to be good.
Yeah. So like the gods specifically, there's no scientific proof that they exist. And the last thing to add to that is, if your religion is telling you to commit all these atrocities, to kill animals unnecessarily, or to do this and do that, you're not worshiping a god at that point. You're kind of worshiping a devil. Sorry to let you guys in on that.
Yeah, because if God is telling you to kill animals, then what is the devil telling you to do? I mean, it's the same thing, right? There's just no reason to hurt animals unnecessarily. You're near a grocery store. Do not put dead animals in your shopping cart. Veggies, fruits, nuts, and seeds, put them in your shopping cart, because peace begins on your plate. So open up your heart. And just today, I've written already 4 more TikTok songs, 15 seconds each. And one of them is exactly about that, being in the grocery store. It's kind of upbeat. It's got a good tune. I'm looking forward to using them. You want to read this comment, VegCeps?
I haven't come out as vegan to my family yet. Last night, my dad asked for dinner suggestions. I suggested veggie burgers with soy cheese, but he thought it sounded disgusting, so he made beef burgers. I think the word you're looking for beef is cow flesh. So one thing I'd suggest there is just using the proper language, is not to go by the disconnected words. It's just go by what it really is. There's a reason why these words were created. It's to keep people disconnected. Because if you go up to someone and say, "Hey, there's cow flesh in your burger," it sounds a lot less appetizing and uncomfortable, you know?
Right. Yeah. And it's weird, it's a funny thing happened. I was filming my food on TikTok one time. I was filming some carrots and hummus in a 15-second video, moving my camera around. And, I was showing how good it is, just a little song. And I didn't notice it, but some people noticed that there was like a little hair on one of the carrots. Like, my hair's gray. It was just a little one. Maybe it was Bella's, my dog's hair. I don't know. It was just a little light one. I hadn't noticed it. So I saw in the comments, "Oh, there's a hair in her food." And I was thinking to myself, at first I thought, "Oh, that's too bad. I didn't notice that. I should have taken that out." Then I thought, wait, you literally eat dead bodies. They're trying to make fun of me, and you literally eat hot dogs, which are eyeballs and ears and scrotums. It's just like all the extra body parts just thrown into hot dogs. That's what it is. And or like the time that somebody went to Kentucky Fried Chicken and they found like, I think like a claw in there, or like a chicken foot.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's a chicken foot in my Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, oh my God, there's dead chicken in my dead chicken.
Like, you're literally eating the leg. I'm sorry, we left the foot on. How horrible. They want to sue the company or something. Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really make fun of the people for being so disconnected. It's just the years and years of the rooted disconnect that has been built into our society. So you can't even blame the people for it. You have to look at the society, and people aren't used to doing their own research and opening their mind to new things, and just challenging their own thoughts. So that's another issue. That's another big issue, as I think people are not used to really challenging their own thoughts and logic and things like that. I think people really need to stay consistent with that, even vegans.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think that one of the things I used to try to teach my students at school is, I said, if you learn only just one thing before you leave grade 6 and go down to high school, because like I said, high school here is in grade 7, it should be how to think. Like, that's just how to think, how to research. That's it, critical thinking, not just believing everything. Because if you have that skill, you can learn anything in the world. You can find out the truth. Just keep digging. You think you have the truth? Maybe dig some more. Maybe you're not on the right, just keep looking. all the time. You want to read? Oh, this is for me. Okay, I have a question, Miss Katie. I've been vegan for almost 6 months, and my fellow friend said I had Vystopia. What are the signs of someone having Vystopia? Jenny, Kim, yeah, Vystopia is the anguish of being vegan in a non-vegan world. And I have Vystopia. Vystopia is this feeling that you have. It's like when you think about the world, there's utopia, which is a perfect world, and a dystopia, like a dystopian society, which is a terrible, terrible society. And Vystopia is what vegans who are animal rights activists. I'm not talking about people who do yoga and eat vegetables. Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about animal rights activists, which is what the real world word vegan means. Not that vegans can't do yoga, but you know what I mean. It's like you connect with the animals. Then what you do is you start to see around you so many people harming animals. And after a while, when you see that people aren't changing, you start to look at the world and realize you're actually surrounded by zombies, people who are completely disconnected. And that kind of becomes a little bit frightening, and it also becomes very sad. It's sad to go to the grocery store and have a cart full of veggies and fruits and nuts and seeds and legumes, and then look over and see a dead body there. It's like looking over and seeing a dead cat, like someone's buying a dead body of a dead cat, or like at the cashier, or like a leg of a dog. To us, seeing the leg of a rabbit or the leg of a chicken or the body of any other animal is the same, because we've seen hundreds, if not thousands of hours of footage, because we've studied what goes on to become who we are right now, these animal rights activists. We've looked at so much, because many of us began with like, wow, that can't really be true. Is it really true that we do these terrible things to animals? Come on, this must be an exception. I'll watch another video. Oh my God, they do that in Australia. Oh my God, they do that in England. Oh my God, they do that in Canada. Oh my God, they do that in the States. Oh my God, they do that in China. They do it everywhere around the world. Animals are treated like objects. And when you realize that, and you're lying in bed at night and you are thinking about the incredible sadness and the suffering that's going on right now, you become desperate almost to do anything to stop it. Because I personally am filled with guilt that I contributed to that. And all I can do is, for the rest of my life, speak out in defense of them, because we don't see them, but they're there. And that's what Vystopia is, the anguish of being vegan in a non-vegan world.
That was great.
Are you suffering from it, or are you doing better than me?
I don't think I'm suffering from it. I'm not really familiar with the term.
Okay, there's a book by vegan psychologist Claire Mann, and she's been a psychologist for 30 years, and she coined the term, and she wrote the book Vystopia, and that's what she talks about. She said that vegans need like a vegan psychologist who will really understand them, because many vegans go to different psychologists to try to figure out, like, how can I cope in this world? And then the psychologist ends up saying, well, why don't you just eat some animals once in a while? Just you'll feel better. Like, they really don't get it. They just don't get it. Yeah. Right. And sometimes family members go to see psychologists. So you get like let's say in a family, you'll get one person who's vegan, and the family is like worried about their 15-year-old who's vegan, let's say. They'll say, come on, we'll go to the psychologist together. We'll fix this thing. And, they're trying to like convert them to not be vegan. Like, you can't do that. You cannot tell a 15-year-old who has seen the light who is reborn. Like, we're all born vegan is how I say it to people. Like, we're all born not wanting to hurt animals. We are victims of our parents putting these dead animals into our bodies, and us just opening our mouths. We don't know what's going on. But, so when I say to people who are pregnant, I say, your kid is born vegan. Your milk is meant for your child. That is vegan milk, because it's not stolen. All kids are born vegan. Keep them vegan. Let them decide when they're older if they want to pay for the rape, the torture, the murder, the sadness of these animals. But how cool would it be to raise your child vegan and say, hey, guess what? When the kid's 5, by the way, you've never had an animal. You've never eaten an animal, and the kid's like, what do you mean? Why would I eat an animal? Right? Because it's not until they get to kindergarten that they kind of realize what's going on. And You can raise your kids vegan. I know people who are both vegan, who have had vegan children. The children are grown up. There's somebody actually on YouTube. Her name is Born Vegan, and she was born vegan, and she's freaking normal. She's healthy. She does gymnastics, or she did. She's a little bit older now, and you know.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a great point, because it's not in the human instincts to naturally just want to harm animals or to want to kill them. But if you apply that to any other omnivorous or real carnivorous animal, it's in their nature to do this, and that's because they're real. It's just in their nature. They're real omnivores and they're real carnivores. But humans have the intelligence that if we needed to do that, we absolutely needed to do that to survive. That we could do that, but not that we do that just for no reason, because it's not in our instincts to just harm for no reason. You know, we have to be under a harsh circumstance to harm someone else for that reason. So, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I can't imagine myself harming an animal. Just like if that's in our nature, like where are my claws? Like, look at my fingernails. They're just like normal length. They're not long. I don't have fangs. Like,
yeah.
I
or
don't
those lion canines. Yeah.
People say, "Oh, what about our canines and our, on our, like, what are you talking about?" I could never, like, I couldn't even run to catch an animal, let alone grab it and take a chunk, like bite its neck and just make it bleed. Like, nobody could do that. Like, unless you're like really, really sick and evil and mean. I mean, That's why people kill them with guns, because they can't kill them normally. Like, and I mean, okay, you can grab a chicken and do that to chickens, but that's pretty cruel. There's no need to do it. Yeah. Absolutely no need. If you're near a grocery store, be vegan. If you're not near a grocery store, order food online, be vegan.
Yeah, and they'll also use like the past, like humans, how we got here right now is built off of animals, which is somewhat true, but not everyone back then even ate animals or used animals. But yeah, a lot of humanization came from doing that, but a lot of humanization came from also harming other humans, taking their belongings to survive. Do we need to do that right now? Why aren't you doing that? It's because we don't have to, just like we don't have to do it to animals. We don't have to do it to other people, but that's something they had to do back then. That's something that happened a lot when there was no law. So you can't justify that in today's society. It's like, do you want to move forward in civilization, or you want to move backwards?
Exactly. You want to read this one, Veg?
Sure. Miss Katie, I have another question. If the whole world becomes vegan, does it fix everything in the world, or does it only help in animal abuse / cruelty? Please answer.
Why don't you try to answer that one? What do you think?
Does it fix everything in the world? Well, if we abolish speciesism, like if that actually were to happen, in order to be consistent with that, we would have to abolish every other form of discrimination as well. So that would be perfect, because if you're taught not to crush an insect just because they're an insect, how are you going to criticize another person because of their skin color when you at the same time wouldn't even harm a fly? So that's just the logic I use. If someone wouldn't harm a fly, how could that person be cruel to another person? So
now, let's just separate though self-defense, because somebody asked me this. What happens if you're like, I said this last year when I was on TikTok in a video. I said I was holding the camera and somebody said, what if what do we do about if a mosquito's attacking you? And I said, and I put the camera close and I said, you kill it. And they were like all shocked. It's like, well, okay, you're in the middle of the forest and you're being attacked. It's self-defense. I mean, obviously, if you're in a room and there's a mosquito, and you can lure the mosquito out by turning a light on in your hall, and the mosquito is going to go towards the light, then, leave your light on in the hall at night, and the mosquitoes are going to hang out there. They're not going to bother you. Like, try to do your best not to harm animals. That's all it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And do I think that the world's going to be perfect? Well, I think I like what you said, VegCeps. Let's talk about the word speciesism. A lot of people don't know it. Some people pronounce it speciesism. Speciesism or speciesism. It means that why don't you explain it?
Well, it's basically when you value one individual over another individual only because of their species. So it's like the same concept with racism. If you know what racism is, you know what speciesism is. It's the same exact thing, it's the same exact logic. The only difference is it's with species.
Mm-hmm. I would like to expand the word racism to apply to animals. That would settle the problem. We wouldn't need the word speciesism if we just call it you're racist if you think it's okay to kill animals. But then, people get upset because like animals, you're equating animals to humans. How dare you? Well, name the trait that makes them different. Why would you kill like a baby cow and let a baby human stay alive? What is it?
Yeah.
They both have eyes, they both have ears, they both eat, they both drink, they both poop, they both want to live, they both want to play, they both want to be with their families. Like there are so many things they have in common. It blows my mind to think of killing a baby cow. Like, have you ever looked at a baby cow? They're the most innocent, sweet. It's like all animals, really. Rabbits, lambs, pigs. They've never done a single thing to us. They only have their body. They have one thing, and people take it away from them. So I don't know. I think if we had an end to speciesism, it could be a really great step. Yeah. Because I think if you grow up with children who don't step on ants in the schoolyard, who don't think it's funny, and who don't, we teach kids not to make fun of kids because of skin color or because, someone's fat or somebody's got pimples or whatever. You teach them that. You say, that's not nice. Don't talk about that and the way they look. But meanwhile, you're all going to go and you're going to have a bake sale to raise money to help the animals. And you're going to be like literally having dead animals in the cookies that you're selling. Like you have dead body parts, like, eggs and milk, which come from these animals that are exploited. It's crazy. Have you ever seen that outside of the SPCA? They're protecting animals. A barbecue to raise money for the animals inside. Well, you have dead freaking cows and pigs on the grill, and you're raising money to help the cats and the dogs in the building behind you. It's like, what is the disconnect?
Yeah.
So strange. You want to read this one?
Stop paying for the rape, torture, and confinement, kidnapping, and murder of the animal agriculture industries. How is it that we have all these laws protecting human children, but we treat animals this way? Good point. People not calling it out, and once something's normalized, it's going to take a while for people to question it. And if it's inconvenient for that person to speak up against it, then they're going to fight for it. And it's the same thing because it took so long for even non-people of color to speak up against slavery, but because they were so like afraid to do it and everything. It's just, yeah, once something's the norm, it's very hard to fight against it. And especially when that one thing gives you a lot of pleasure, because we have to remember, there was people fighting in the Civil War to keep blacks enslaved because they enjoyed it and because they didn't want to give up their livelihoods. So we're living in a world like that. It doesn't really surprise me to see where people are standing with animal rights, where people are going to fight so hard to keep, someone else as a commodity for them. It's very disgusting. It's very, very scary. And it'll slide for a while when it's normalized. So that's the really scary part, is people not questioning it, even though it's the norm.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's see. What else have we got here? I'm just going to randomly click. World issues are too complicated to be solved by ridding of one problem, in my opinion. Would it be drastically, but it would drastically help. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, vegan gays. Yeah. You want to add to that, VegCeps?
I don't know. I think as far as discrimination, if we're talking about abolishing speciesism, I think that would be like the end of discrimination for the most part.
Yeah. Do you think that people would still fight over territory and things like that? I think so. I mean, I think there would still be a lot of different problems, but not on the mass scale that we have now. And at least we would be able to protect our environment from the terrible animal agriculture industries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. How is it that we have laws to protect human children, but we treat animals this way? I don't know, Jay. It's crazy. Yeah. Okay, is it normal and sane to be vegan, or is it wrong? As I have been vegan for 3 years now. Bart Simp. What do you think, Bart? You think it's normal? You've been vegan for 3 years. You think it's normal? Does it feel good? Feels great to me. I'm going to be vegan coming up in June. It's going to be 5 years for me. And it feels like the most normal thing to not hurt animals. Just the only thing that's hard is the society around me. Other than that, it's not a big deal. Like VegCeps said, just get yourself a ton of different spices. Start experimenting with spices and just make big batches of filling food. Make sure when you're first vegan, they eat enough calories. This is one of the problems, that people don't eat enough calories. They don't eat enough food. And so they end up having problems. They just feel weak or whatever. Well, you're just not eating enough. Like, just pile the fresh fruit in front of you. Just eat all the fruits and veggies. Just go for it. Yeah. Let's see, what random go vegan for the animals. Yes. Am I allowed to be mod? I've been vegan for 10 days now. Well, you can be a moderator here when you've shown that you understand about veganism, because it's great that you've been vegan. I'm super proud of you, but you have to show me in the comments that you understand. So you're making comments about reminding people to watch all the different documentaries. What are the documentaries that you've seen, VegCeps?
Haven't seen the most recent one. Haven't seen Seaspiracy, but I know it's full of very good evidence, and I think people should watch it regardless of not seeing it, just by seeing like how much it's being promoted. I think it has some really good information for it, because really as far as the marine life, that's overlooked so easily, and that really itself needs its like own documentary and movement, because it is just terrible, and it's not something that's even looked into. But I saw Dominion, Earthlings was the one that changed me. Earthlings was the first one I saw, and that really gave me the push after watching it over and over. It really gave me the final push, and something
you saw it more than once at first, yeah.
Yeah.
How did you find it? So you were aware of that, you were holding a rabbit and you were eating meat, and then like, did you start Googling things? Did you start Googling the word vegan and then you came across Earthlings, or did somebody recommend it to you, or how did you?
It just came with my research, but I don't know how exactly I came across it, but it just came with my research of wanting to know and find out what was going on with these industries and how this animal was getting to my plate. So that was just basically it for me. It's something that really helped me sympathize for the animals, and something that was really beautiful about that film was Moby's music. He's the musician, right? So it was just a beautiful message and beautiful music in that documentary. It was very, very emotional. So I had to see that. I was very enraged seeing that. Like, wanted to jump to the screen and just beat those guys up.
Oh, enraged! Yeah, you're filled with yes, yeah. The way that Earthlings for me also, that was the one that I saw before Dominion movement, and I encourage people to watch Earthlings. It's easy to find, and I tell people to watch these videos and take notes. The reason I do that is because I tell people, watch these videos, watch Earthlings or Dominion Movement, and have a pen and paper ready, and write down the different animals that you see on the screen, because you can refer to your notes after, because it'll help to prevent you from disconnecting. But if you're watching it and you're really into it, like, that's okay too. You don't have to take notes if you're really absorbing it. But some people, they watch a bit of it and then they kind of like, oh, that's a bit much, and then they start chatting with their friend or whatever. That's not good. I mean, there was some people who have watched it here that told me, oh, we watched Dominion and we're fine, didn't bother us at all. Well, come on, you're full of shit. You didn't actually watch it. You were talking while it was on, or you were muting different things. Like, so if you love someone, don't lease them out like property. That's what you do to horses, so stop riding them. What do you feel about riding horses, VegCeps?
So it's slavery. Against their will, it's slavery. Now, if you have a true bond with your horse, and I don't know, maybe for some weird reason they might get pleasure from you riding them, I guess I'd say it's justified, but don't post it on the internet and don't prefer it for other people to do it. If that's a rare bond in which that might be okay, but in all situations, most situations, it's for profit and it's for someone's own benefit, but not because it's a bond or anything like that. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. It's slavery. You're forcing them to do something against their will, and carriages and things like that, when people ride around for money, these animals can often get exhausted and die, and they have no rights. You know, they
Yeah,
don't get
I just wrote in the comment section, Ren Hurst, read her book. Ren Hurst is somebody who worked with horses for many, many years, and then she gradually started realizing that, she looked at the horses differently. She started to realize, wait, I don't think these horses want to be ridden. And she just, stopped. And also their spines are not designed to have huge weights on them. And in order to get to the point of riding a horse, you have to break their spirit, like animals in a circus. No horse is going to be like just standing there randomly out in the wild and be like, hey, hop on my back. No way. They want nothing to do with you. And it absolutely broke my heart to see somebody here on YouTube who talks about horses all the time, and she calls out people who are bad trainers. But at the same time, she's telling people how to train horses. The message should be, do not have horses. Leave them in the wild. Stop raping them into existence. Stop breeding them. Stop breaking their spirits when they're little by putting a rope on them and making them walk around in circles, and rewarding them with food if they do something good and withholding food if they don't. All of this stuff. None of it is okay. Putting a bit in their mouth to control them, that's painful. That is not, none of it is okay. And it's really shocking because I do kind of get it. When I was first vegan and someone said, riding horses isn't vegan, I was like, what? You're not eating the horse? Like, come on, it's fine. But then when you really look into it, take the time to look at what it is. It's enslavement, just like you said.
Yeah.
All right, so let's hear. I have a question. What is your advice for people who live with a family who is vegan phobic like me? I am secretly vegan, but it's so hard to keep it a secret. Oh, well, I wouldn't keep it a secret. I would not keep it a secret, Emma. I would tell your family. I would explain why. And I would just not expect too much from them. I would keep educating them. You are born vegan and you never know. Okay, probably this wouldn't happen. But if you tell, what I tell people is just, I on TikTok, I used to make videos talking directly to parents and say, your kid just told me that they're vegan. Oh my God, what an amazing parent you are. That is so great. You raised such a compassionate human being who never wants to hurt animals. How did you do it? Wow, you're a great mom. Oh my God, you're an amazing dad. This is so cool. You have the best kid on earth. Give your kid a huge hug. Right? That should be the answer. Like, that's what parents need to hear. Like, if you have a kid who's vegan, oh my God. Like, love them. Hug them. Rough up their hair and say, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. This is awesome. Let's go shopping. And then it's veggies, fruits, nuts, and seeds in your shopping cart. Peace begins on your plate. Open up your heart. Right? What do you think? I'm just randomly clicking. Okay, Jenny, you've asked a zillion questions. You're so cute. Okay, I have another question. I'm sorry, I have a lot of questions. Haha. My family have been forcing me to eat animals, be prawns, keep me healthy, and I need help. They keep forcing me. Oh, Jenny, tell your family that they can't. It's not right. I see it as a form of rape, personally. I know I can all see everybody's eyes rolling, but this is something you don't want in your body, and there's no need for it. It's not like when you're you're 2 months old, or you're a 2-year-old and you need to get a vaccination because it's going to protect you. You eating animals is not going to do anything except for pay into these industries that exploit these animals. So I would tell your parent. I would think that people should start to break it to their parents, of course, and your family and your colleagues. I think you should tell people that you're vegan, because even the littlest little click. It takes 100 clicks until you're vegan. You got to start. You give the first click to your family. I'm vegan. And here's why. You tell them. You maybe sit them down and make a serious conversation. Like, I have something I want to tell you, and it's really important to me. And it would really, and what I tell people is on birthdays and things like that, say, I don't want a present. What I want you to do is watch this documentary with me. That's the present I want. Right? What do you think of that?
I would say, don't let them force you to do. I would definitely say that's child abuse, forcing someone to do something and support something that they don't want to do, that doesn't align with their values. That's definitely child abuse. But also protest against it. Go on a hunger strike. Let them know that you're not going to support that violence and that you're not going to eat it. So let them know that you're not going to eat it all. If all you have to eat is dead animal body parts, let them know you're not going to eat it all, and they're going to be forced to feed you something vegan eventually. They let you starve. Are they going to go to prison for letting you starve?
I think VegCeps, I think your idea is so great. And I think it's good, but you have to be careful. Look, the only reason I'm saying this is I've seen how crazy parents are after being on TikTok and watching my duets. There are some actual evil, really cruel parents. I've had kids tell me that when they did try to not eat animals, their fathers hit them. Like, smacked them on the head and said, you fucking eat it or you're not leaving the table. Like, there's some, we don't want kids to be exposed to any kind of violence. Vegan phobia is real, and it is wrong, and it is dangerous. I say it is just as bad as homophobia, because when kids come out as vegan to their family members, there can sometimes be extreme results from that, like extreme opposition. Literal violence, not just words, actual physically, like dragging the kid, forcing them to eat, go to your room. They take away laptops to say, you're not going to eat this food that your mother made for you. You're not going to eat this meat sauce because, your mother worked hard. It's like, look, so I think it's great if you're a kind of kid who realizes it, and you're maybe you're like a teenager, maybe you're 16, 17, and you're getting to be of that age, and you're able to stand up. So basically, be as vegan as possible. Stand up for your values as much as you can, but not to the point where you're going to get hurt by anyone. And to anybody who's watching, who would ever do that to a kid, who would ever be cruel to a kid, fuck you. Seriously. How fucking horrible is that? Your kid is amazing, doesn't want to eat animal products, doesn't want to steal babies from their mothers and drink their milk. You should be so proud of your kid. Don't force them to do something that they don't want to do. They don't beat it out. Don't break them. Don't break their spirit. They're amazing. That's what I say.
Yeah, that was great. I absolutely love your passion.
I am vegan, but in an ethical way. What's that mean?
I think being ethical is the only way you can be vegan. Well, I'm 100% sure.
Yeah. Okay, so someone's saying that's so rude. I don't know if they're talking to me, because I just told parents to fuck off if they're being mean to their kids.
You told child abusers to F off. That's rude.
Yeah, I told it.
I think the child abusement would be rude.
Yeah. Basically, I'm telling parents to be kind to their kids and accept them and be proud of them. Whether they come out of the closet as LGBTQ, whether they come out of the closet as vegan. If your kid is telling you something about themselves, a core value that they have or a way that they're born, and your kids are all born vegan, it's just waking up to that fact. Every single person can be vegan. My mother-in-law is 81, and she became vegan at the age of 77. She just realized one day, oh my God, because she started living with us, and we saw, when I became vegan, I saw a piece of veal in the fridge. And I just started crying one day, because it just clicked in me that, oh my God, it's not good enough that I'm vegan. I cannot have dead animals in my house. And I told her, I said, this isn't going to work. We can't live together if you're putting dead animals there. And I explained to her, and she really got it. She's like, oh my God, I never thought of it as being a baby cow. And that was it. She just did some more research, and She's like, okay, let's do this. Found her a good vegan doctor. We have an amazing vegan doctor here in Montreal who is like super like, don't eat animals. Don't eat anything that comes from an animal. Here's your list of things. Make your smoothie. Stuff it there with some spinach and push it down even further. Now just add your soy milk and add your, all these different seeds and everything. It's great. It's great when you have a vegan doctor. You want to read this one?
How do you deal with vegan phobia, Miss Katie? People have bullied, harassed, threatened you along with leaking your address. How do you deal with that vegan phobia?
I cry once a day. I seriously do probably cry at least once a day, but it's really the thinking of the animals and thinking of how terrible society is. And that's okay. I think we are allowed to cry when we are sad. It is devastating to know what happens. And it's devastating to know that people are so mean. But what is the alternative? I stay alive because life is interesting. It's like, what's going to happen next? Like, what's going to happen in 5-10 years? What's going to happen in 20-30 years? Like, I want to check it out. Like, I have plenty of time to be dead after and to be in a coma somewhere or, lying down. So I'm going to go to my bed like everybody else. When you're sad, pull the covers over and just be like, oh, fuck, it sucks and this and that. And then it's like, but it doesn't take long before I kick myself in the butt and say, okay, time's up. You're no more time to cry. You got work to do. Roll up your sleeves. Let's go. And I tell people, 80% of life is just showing up. This is how I see it. Like, you don't want to do something, like, just show up. Literally put your body where it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be on the bus to go to school. Just get on the bus. You're supposed to be sitting in that chair at your desk. Just get there. You're supposed to be in the gym, in the locker room, putting on your clothing to go to a gym class. Do it. You're supposed to be, at a protest. Just do it. Just show up. Even if you don't feel like it. If you're supposed to be doing some exercise or whatever it is, just do it. And that's what I do. I just force myself to do it. Just keep going. And every once in a while, somebody says, hey, I became vegan because of you. And it's like, okay. So I'm helping somebody. It's the best I can do. Whether I have 1.7 million followers or I have like 10 people watching. We have 142 right now. Like, think about that, VegCeps. People say, oh, you have hardly any followers since you're off TikTok. But think about it. We have 142 people. Like, if you opened your front door right now and you saw 142 people pull up chairs and you and I were sitting on my front porch, right? It's 142 people who are interested in what we're talking about. Even if there's one or two, we keep going. I'm not in control of how many people are watching me. I'm just in control of my message. And my message is always the same. Don't eat animals. What do you think? How long do you think you're going to be an activist for?
Until I die. I assume that would be the only answer I could take, to speak up for it forever. And one thing we have to keep in mind is that we're doing this for the animals, and all that hate we get is part of the process. And I mean, if you look at people like white people who stood up for Black people in the time when change was being made back in the day, they got hate from other white people for sticking up for Black people. So that's just part of the process when it comes to fighting against any form of discrimination. You're going to be targeted for fighting against the norm. When even though it's the norm, you're fighting against it because it's cruel. People are going to turn against you.
Mm-hmm.
It's the exact same concept.
Here's something. Read this one.
Is VegCeps even here? He's just smiling and nodding. No, I think my soul is like in another dimension, and then my body is just here looking at Miss Katie.
All right. But let's just grab another comment. I have a question. I see that. Okay, you read this one, VegCeps.
I have a question on what I should do. I have a robin that fell out of her nest and her parents never showed up. I took care of her and now she's grown and healthy. Should I release her? If she can fly, and I don't know. I say do your research. I'm sure neither of us are very, the person to go to for that. But yeah, do your research, and if she's healthy and all, she's a normal size, she's an adult, and it's good to release her, then I'd say do it. Yeah,
I mean, it's the same for me. I had these 2 mice in the house that I caught, and that I had to keep them here in the winter because I couldn't let them out. It's Canada and it was cold in the winter, and it was super hard for me to release them. I was just worried. I was like, I opened them, I was like crying. I was like opening the cage, and it's like they were all cuddled up and sleeping during the day, and I didn't actually see them leaving the cage. But in order to make sure that the cage was safe, I actually put it where I have my tomatoes, which is like this kind of like not barbed wire, but like chicken wire. I hate saying that word, but chicken fence, to protect my tomatoes. So I put the cage in there. So when they were left, they would at least not be attacked by raccoons or whatever. And they could always come back to their little cage. And, I left food in there, but the door was open. That's our responsibility. After that, it's up to them. You gave them a home. This bird belongs in the wild, and it is not right to keep your bird. Definitely have food around outside in case have a bird feeder, but that's it. Just think of it. If it was you, would you want your freedom? You decide, are you going to fly away, or are you going to stay in the hands of the person who helped you? So you hold your hands like this and let the bird decide. Then keep standing there. If the bird comes back, great, she's back. But do the same thing every day. Animals deserve their freedom. What do you think? All right, so it's been an hour. I want to thank you so much, an hour and 15 minutes. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, everybody who's been asking questions and moderators. Do you want to end by saying anything, VegCeps?
Yeah, it was a fun time, and my thoughts to all the people saying that, that vegan teacher is racist and things like that. Just do your research and actually question your own logic and see what question yourself first. Think for yourself. Don't just believe what any random YouTuber is saying. Actually do the background research.
You know what they're going to do? You just said, for people who think that vegan teacher is racist, you know what they're going to do? They are literally going to take that clip that you just said, and they're going to have a black man saying that vegan teacher is racist. They're going to take it completely out of context. That's what people do. It's crazy. But thank you for saying that. I really do appreciate having you here on our side, fighting for the animals, being amazing. You're young and you've got it. You really freaking got it. You totally get it. You care about the animals. You understand what veganism is about. And I invite everybody to follow this young man. His name is VegCeps. And I don't know actually how to get this comment off the screen in order to show how to spell your name. Does anybody know? If you write in the comments, I don't know if I've tried to click on it or to unclick. So if I can figure out how, then I can show you how you spell your name. But basically it's veg, instead of biceps, it's VegCeps. Is that it?
Yeah.
VegCeps. Let me see muscles. They're probably not as big as mine. Come on, let's see.
Yeah, they have to be pumped in order to show them.
Oh. Mine are pretty big. Look at all right. Yeah, but basically you do weight training. You're in extremely good shape. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, which is great. When you're here's somebody wrote it, but where'd it go? Somebody wrote it here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they spelled it wrong. Amazing.
VegCeps. Okay, that's wrong. Okay, wait, where's veg? Here's another try. No, that's the vegan. Okay, wait. Anyways, I'm going to write it. VegCeps. Like biceps, but VegCeps, right? Oh, here's one. That the way?
Perfect. You killed it.
All right. And by killing it, you mean, like, this is a crazy expression. When I talk about the N-word, and that we should evolve and just you claim it and say, like, it's not a bad thing. Like, just get over it, right? We use word killing. When I first started hearing that a few years ago, you killed it. I was like, oh my God, I did a terrible job. I didn't realize that it meant a good thing. Like, how do we do that? So we take words all the time and we reformulate them to make them work. So anyways, thank you for being here. Somebody wants me to notice them. There, I noticed you. I noticed me. All right.
Thanks. Yeah, it was definitely a fun experience. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me. And I'd be down to do this any other time. So it
Yeah,
was a fun experience. I think we brought something good to the table here, allowed people to, think for themselves and things like that. So I think it's nice to have the perspective from a person of color for once.
it's really great. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on my show and to teach the students. And I will see you. Definitely, we'll do this again. Like anytime you want to
Wait,
come, if you have an important message to give, or you want to talk about something, even if it's just for 20 minutes, then you just want to say,
yeah.
hey, Miss Katie, can I talk to your audience about whatever? No problem. Let me know.
Mhm.
All
Did you
right.
still want to see Twinkle?
Sorry? Oh,
Did you still
yeah,
want to
you
see
have it.
Twinkle? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
look at Twinkle. Twinkle, twinkle, little rabbit. Twinkle, twinkle. Come over here. I can't think of a rhyme. What rhymes with rabbit? Rabbit. No, I can't think of any. Oh, there's Twinkle Rabbit. Aw, what a cutie. Let me see. Is it he or she?
She's a girl. She's
Girl.
pretty old too.
Oh yeah? How old is she?
Uh,
Is she licking your face?
almost 8. Yes, she gives people kisses. She's really nice.
Aw. So she's 8. Oh my goodness.
Almost
Okay,
8.
you're 17, so you've had her a long time.
Yeah.
Was she little when you first got her?
Uh-huh.
I've heard that rabbits are actually not that easy to raise. You have to have like really specific food, and if you let them run, they eat your floorboards and stuff like that. Like what are her living circumstances like?
Um. Yeah. She does do that. She has done it, but I can repaint them. But they mature and they grow after certain things. So if they know that you don't want them to do a certain thing, then they'll adapt to it. Like she's trained. She knows like when to pee somewhere and when to poop somewhere and to go. Because I have a bucket just right next to this desk right here that she goes and poops in, and it just has some wood chips and things,
Okay.
and I just clean it out. So it's like
Like,
it's kind of like a cat litter.
okay. That's great. All right. So thank you again. And I will see you next time. Bye, everyone. Don't
Anytime.
forget to subscribe to both of our channels. VegCeps also has a channel on YouTube, and hit the bell so you will see all of our notifications. See you. Do, 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 do.